Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. Nice to have you with us today. From the Max Planck Institute of Molecular Cell Biology, they studied the role of iodine, a micronutrient, very important. But what happens when you're pregnant and you do not have enough? There are disaster consequences. Higher mammals, such as we, human beings, have markedly larger brains than other mammals. Scientists in the Max Planck Institute of Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics in Dresden recently discovered a new mechanism governing brain stem cell proliferation. It serves to boost the production of neurons during development, thus causing the enlargement of the cerebral cortex. That's the part of the brain that enables we humans to speak and think and dream. The surprising discovery made by the Dresden-based researchers, two components in the stem cell environment, the extracellular matrix and thyroid hormones, work together with a protein molecule found in the stem cell surfaces, so-called integrin. Now, when you have adequate amounts of iodine, that you would get from eating seaweed or simply taking a supplement, it helps the whole process. So the bottom line is this: if you know someone who is pregnant or wants to become pregnant, just make sure that you sit with a really qualified holistic nutritionist or dietitian, so they'll give you the kind of foods that you should eat so you have abundant iodine during pregnancy so you don't have those disastrous effects. One simple nutrient makes a difference. Now, broccoli and kale that I talk about all the time, the microgreens of these, meaning when you plant a seed and it germinates, and you do that by putting it in medium. Generally, it's today the hip thing is to put it into coconut, and they grind up coconuts. It looks like a brown matted material, and about 1/4 inch is put onto a tray, and then you put your seeds into a jar. You soak them overnight. In the morning, you rinse them, and you rinse them twice a day, and then you spread them over this tray, plate, whatever size you want to grow. They grow, and after about 1 inch of growing, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, they become microgreens, meaning they're very small. Now, if you didn't stop them or harvest them, they would grow into full-grown broccoli and kale, for example. Well, now the new research is showing something that I talked about years ago, I mean a long time ago, that is the microgreens that are packed with super amounts of vitamin C and other antioxidants. Well, here's what the American Chemical Society, the largest group of chemists in America, had to say. Broccoli and kale microgreens, that's the little tiny ones, pack an enormous nutritional punch that varies with growing conditions. Now, although microgreens were initially gourmet ingredients in upscale restaurants, they would generally sprinkle them on a dish or an item. Most people just pushed them aside, didn't care about them. Well, now they've become popular among gardeners and home cooks. Despite their superfood label, the levels of healthful compounds such as phytonutrients and antioxidants in most varieties of microgreens is unknown. Researchers at the American Chemical Society, Science and Technology, report that kale and broccoli microgreens grown in either windowsills, how simple is that, or under commercial growing conditions, are rich in phytonutrients, though the levels of some compounds vary considerably. I suggest you go to one of the environmental stores that sells plants and get a bag of the organic potting soil. All right, that's a good medium, and don't overdo it. You only need about 1/2 inch of the soil, and you can generally use the soil about 3 or 4 times. So don't just throw it away each time you get harvest, let's say, sunflower sprouts or broccoli sprouts. All right. So you can do this indoors. It's not expensive. You can buy small little seedlings from the Brassica, Brassica family. That includes broccoli, kale, cabbage, and mustard. And the mature, full-grown versions of these plants, which historically is what we've eaten, those are also rich in phytochemicals. So all good. Also, can the EPA-rich supplements help your brains work less hard and boost mental performance. This is from Swinburne University in Australia. Now, the EPAs are the omega-3 fatty acids, and most people get them from oil, but you can also get them from vegan sources, including hemp, and which is a big source, but also from walnuts, as an example, avocados. These are healthy fats. Now, we know for a fact that they improve cognitive performance, and that also means with a reduction in neural activity, meaning your brain is working better with less. That indicates the brain is working less, which means less inflammation. So that's important to have better functional activity in the brain, cognitive performance, memory. Yes. This was published in Human Psychopharmacology and Clinical and Experimental. And that's important. So take in your omega-3 fatty acids each day. There's another nutrient that we don't take in. In fact, there's very little talk about it. It's called Pycnogenol, or you can also call it French pine bark extract, because that's where it comes from. Either one works. Now, Pycnogenol is Pycnogenol, and its benefits for menopause are substantial. The Kai Medical Center in Japan did a study on it. Daily supplements of extract of the bark of the French maritime pine can help reduce symptoms of menopause, hot flashes, night sweats. Yes. 12 weeks of supplementing with Pycnogenol were associated with significant reductions in scores of menopausal symptoms. This was published in the Journal of Reproductive Medicine. So perimenopausal women who participate in this randomized placebo-controlled double-blind study also saw great benefits too. 60 milligrams, that's a small amount, or placebo were given for 12 weeks. I would suggest 150 milligrams or twice that amount, and they saw a substantial difference. In fact, results showed that there were no statistically significant differences in the groups for estradiol and follicle stimulating hormone and insulin-like growth factor and IGF binding protein. But you talk about changing the outcome, try having the night sweats and hot flashes and ask yourself, is it worth taking a Pycnogenol tablet? Yes, it is. From Yale University School of Environmental Studies comes a study about common chemicals in our environment that cause osteoarthritis. A new study has linked exposure to two common fluoridated chemicals, PFCs, with osteoarthritis. And that is unfortunate because we're surrounded in a world where people are selling us things to make our life easier. We put it in our washing machine to make the clothes come out softer. Stop using these. You don't need them. And they're toxic. They get in your body and they disrupt your chemistry. That's the latest on health and healing. We're going to take a break.